Hi everybody, it's Chris here from the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Always Smile on Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. It's Monday evening, so this is when the four of us come and chat some shit. Bestie's already started off with the questions this evening, haven't you? Do you want to ask the viewers
many questions? I'll begun, I suppose. We've only just begun with are yams and sweet potatoes the same thing? Now, I didn't know this. You see, they have yams all the time on like Friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always just caused they look like sweet potatoes, but apparently they aren't. They're different things altogether.
We were quite confident they weren't the same, Chris, weren't we?
I thought
it was a
you
guess.
know how they call like they've got different names for the same thing, so they call like
Aubergine is something.
Aubergine is
Eggplant.
Eggplant, and it doesn't taste now like eggs.
And zucchini is something else. Zucchini and
What about the dentist one? Will you ask people the dentist one?
Dentists. What I'm going to do is ask the question now
Mm-hmm.
and then reveal the answer later in the show.
Like it. Ask the question, Bestie. Take it away, mate.
My question to you, viewers, listeners, whichever it is, I'm pointing at the camera. People who are listening don't know I'm doing that, but now they do because I've said.
I like this audio like description.
Oh,
that
it's
we're
kind of
doing
like,
for
I've
those
been
with
reading a lot of
visually
audiobooks.
impaired.
It's like, you know, when you used to get a
You've
DVD.
been reading a lot of audiobooks.
I've been reading a lot of audiobooks.
How do you read an audiobook?
With your mind. What do they call dentists in America? That's your question.
Repeat the question, Bestie.
What do they call dentists in America?
So, before we sign out, Bestie will give you the answer. Get your questions in, though. Let me know what it is. Right.
By the way, a zucchini, also known as a courgette.
All right. Okay.
Have you ever
Thanks,
been,
Tobias.
you know when you get a cucumber when you're abroad? And
Like a little sweet one, or
no,
like
no, you have a
proper-
full length, like a
full length.
a fun size one.
Them full size ones. I
But
can.
they're dead knobbly.
Yes,
If you get one in like Corfu, it's a knobbly cucumbers in Corfu.
you get them
I don't really know.
where they have them pickled as well in jars.
Oh, I like
They
that.
call like cocker summits.
Cockaliki soup.
Cockaliki soup. It's well shot.
No, because you get them. Like we used to have them all smooth, yeah. Whereas in, I was waiting for that guy to go down the corner of my eye. Yeah, they're all knobbly. I
Do
don't
you
know.
like cucumber?
I love cucumber, me.
I hate cucumber.
It's like water eating curry.
Horrific.
But bizarrely, I like
It's like off
cucumber
water.
I love it,
in
me.
Greece.
In Greece,
Aye, it
No?
tastes different.
What does?
Cucumbers
Well,
from
you said you
Greece.
didn't like it?
Like if you have it in tzatziki.
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 No, it's a
Tzatziki?
different- Tzatziki.
One's
Is he
Greek,
playing
one's
for like
Turkish.
Roma or something like that. No, tzatziki. You get cucumber now. That's lovely,
Oh.
lovely.
You're doing
And
tzatziki as well?
also, I do enjoy a packet of oregano crisps. No one else does, apparently.
Don't know what I'm
Do
on.
you know what they call oregano in America?
Oregano.
Oregano. You got that wrong. It's oregano.
Right.
It's everything wrong, man.
It's everything wrong.
I love oregano.
The book of things Mark gets wrong is getting bigger and bigger as the weeks go on. Apologies if the camera is jumping. It looks all right on my stream, so it might just be an issue with the Wi-Fi at the minute. So are you on the Wi-Fi?
No.
No? Are you on the Wi-Fi?
Mhm.
So if everybody just logs out the Wi-Fi, we'll just let the laptop be on it. Right, so let's get down to business. Me and Mark's already discussed this a little bit.
Isn't that plugged in? Hardwired.
What?
The laptop.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter about the Wi-Fi then.
but it does when everybody else is logged on it.
No, if it's hardwired.
Yes, it does.
You're not using the Wi-Fi.
Please shut up, okay? Please.
Internet speed is going to reduce. Right, so me and Mark's already discussed this. So the game on Saturday, Bessie, I'm going to come straight to you, mate.
Oh, yeah.
What were you expecting from that game? Were you confident in it?
Oh yeah, I thought that would kind of having watched them against Man U the week. I thought that Cambridge in the third division, not going very well in the third division, League One, beg pardon, hadn't scored in 4, I believe, before the game on Saturday. I thought, yeah, well, even at the point, even when we went behind, I was confident because we didn't defend well, we didn't attack well, but we still had 2 goals disallowed. With the keeper made 2 or 3 great saves. We hit the crossbar, one of which was tipped. So I thought, yeah, well, we're making chances here. Well, up until about 10 minutes left. I thought, oh, we'll probably will get it. Like, so yeah, I was really confident.
So you're confident not only before the game, but during the game
During
as
the
well.
game, even now, I'm still fairly confident we'll get something out of the game. To be honest with you.
Spoiler alert.
We'll pick something up. When black and white ribbons on the cup this year, as long as we don't go down.
Decker, what were your thoughts?
Well, I think I said last week that I wasn't asked about the game or winning the game or anything. I didn't really care about it. So I was hoping that would see some of the more maybe younger players, some of the 21s, and maybe just get a team out there. And if they win, then fair enough. But when I seen the lineup, I thought, whoa, this is going to be, we could be 3 or 4 here. You know, it could be really, it could be exciting. We could get a few goals. I was still worried that we had no striker because St. Maximin's not a striker. So that did worry us a bit. But I thought the opposition we're playing against, as Bessie's covered, third division here, we should be doing okay. So, yeah, I thought we'd walk it, to be quite honest with you.
Mark just didn't want to ask.
This is where you get Mark's face on the camera again.
Oh, yes.
I think people that are having issues, it's jumping on people's TVs. It's not jumping on the mobile phones, apparently. So it's just an issue with YouTube. So if you just go back a second, it'll probably sort itself out for you. And this is what happens when it's live. Mark's under the desk now, so God knows what he's doing over there. That'll be why.
Well done, Mark.
Well done, Mark.
Well done, Mark.
Well done, Mark.
Unless you just made that up, like, when he presses buttons. What?
I don't know if it might go off and back on, like that's the only thing.
No, it won't. Oh, you didn't turn the internet off, did you?
No.
All right, okay. We're just going to carry on talking. So, was there any shocks in there for you, Bessie, in regard to players that were starting?
No, I think Trippier was probably the biggest, I wouldn't say a shock, but the one that I thought, well, they might give him a bit more time to kind of get to know the teammates, and I don't know knows how, but it's been a long time since he played for him. So yeah, Trippier was the kind of one that I thought, out of all of them, you might just not bother with for the time being, because obviously Mankio was on the bench, and Kraft started, didn't he? So yeah, Trippier didn't have to play. I'm glad he did, and I thought, well, we'll come on to him later on, I dare say, so I'll not kind of show me cards too early, like. But yeah, he was the one kind of. It wasn't even a surprise, but he was the one I thought, oh well, I wasn't too sure if he would or not. The rest of the team kind of almost picks itself, I suppose, really. Yeah.
Was your mate Saint a shock for you?
Massively. I didn't see any point in resting him whatsoever. I couldn't understand it, to be honest. I didn't expect Trippier to play. I thought he may get a half, maybe come on the second half, just. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think he would start. Some of the defenders and stuff like that, I mean, there's not much else you can do, but I just thought with the Wilson injury, I thought Saint was. Just my opinion. But.
So, Mark, I know we discussed this a little bit yesterday, but the first 45 minutes, we didn't really do much wrong, apart from the fact there wasn't.
Except not score.
Well, there was chances there. There's just nobody on the end of those chances, to be fair. So I think, in regards to performance-wise, if you had somebody like Callum Wilson or even Dwight Gale, you would probably expect to score a couple of those chances.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any kind of real in the box chances. That I can think there was one, like a header that came across.
Murphy's was a huge chance.
Put wide. There was one, Longstaff nodded it wide at the far post where he's got to hit the target there.
Yeah,
there's one where I think it bounced.
That wasn't St. Maximin crossing when someone was in the box, was it?
I think it was.
Was it?
Coming off the left
side.
It
was St. Maximin on the 6-yard box.
It was
crossing it.
I don't believe he crosses the ball.
He wasn't from the outside. Wasn't crossing it. He was a little chip in the box.
I don't believe my eyes.
It wasn't a cross. It was a little chip.
Do you know what it is? I think because we've started already, right? Saint has been getting a lot of pelters over the last 24, 48 hours on social media.
How can you sit there and say unbelievable?
Unbelievable. Who scored against Man United the week before?
We're not discussing Man United. We're discussing what happened at the weekend. He was shite.
I can discuss whatever I wish to sit and discuss about. Honestly, I can.
I'm going to say he was, for the most part, dreadful. And now I'm just going to leave it to you.
But that's it.
No.
That's we're focusing on that game. Yes, we all know what he's capable of doing, Decker, against Man United in other games, but we're judging on what he did on Saturday, and what he did on Saturday wasn't good enough.
He played poor. Played dreadful, actually.
There we go then.
But he was still the only player that looked like doing anything.
I completely disagree.
What? Yeah, what?
I completely disagree.
So you've just said that he set up Longstaff's chance for that header.
Yeah.
He should hit the target. He played Murphy through, who did a piss poor shot straight at the goalkeeper. Pretty much tried to bend it in. Told the whole world where
That
he was
was
going to go.
early days, yeah.
It doesn't matter how early or late it is. But in terms of looking lively and looking like he was going to create something, I didn't see anyone else.
No, not at all.
So tell us,
Jacob Murphy was the best player on the pitch from a threat point of view. And I know you hate him, and
Don't
generally
hate him. Don't hate him at all.
he isn't great, but
Do not
he was
hate him
by
at all.
far the biggest threat we had on that pitch.
I think so. Maximin, I think I said it. I put it in the Telegram fair group on Telegram as well on Saturday during the game that he wasn't doing what he should be doing. He didn't play well, but he still looked most likely to do something. He was breaking forward. He got down. He did make a chance for Longstaff when he headed it. Longstaff should do better. I think Murphy was more effective. Not to kind of say he played brilliantly himself, but I think Murphy, he had the goal disallowed in the second half, which I thought was onside to start with. Clearly, he was offside. But I thought bringing Murphy off was the wrong decision, but that's another thing down the line as
Agreed.
well. So Maximin, there was one point in the first half where he's got the ball, and all the memes that I've been doing around about 5 players in the box doesn't pass, and he's got 2 defenders in front of him. Trippier's 22 yards out on the right hand side. We know he can cross the ball. 8 has a space, and he just doesn't. He hasn't got the awareness, or just doesn't want to pass it to him. I think, however, that's exactly where you want him. He's playing the ball from deep like that. There's no one going to put it away because, however,
had 35 crosses and didn't do anything with any cross.
At that point,
but he should definitely pass the ball. Though.
That was an example of where St. Maximin, for me, his decision making lets him down.
Absolutely,
because he should. Absolutely. That's where he's seeing the kind of what he did against West Ham early in the season, where he had Declan Rice on toast and put the ball in for Wilson to score the header. I think he did against Tottenham as well early in that game.
Because that one, in fairness, I know which one you mean, and that looked like he held on the ball far too long.
But it was a few overhead passes, a few balls like there
was one chance that he had in the first half when he did what he's good at doing. He started out on the left, he ran at them, he cut inside, crossed the box, and he bent it outside of the goalkeeper, trying to get it to the keeper's left, and the keeper pulled off a very good save.
Played well there,
but until that point, he'd done nothing. Well, he looked disinterested.
I don't know about disinterested. I think his decision making. For me, he didn't. He was picking the ball from deep quite a bit. He was running at them a fair bit, from what I remember. He just didn't make the right decision when it came to it, and that he wasn't alone in that. But I think because you rely on him so much, or we have relied on him so much over the past 2.5 seasons now, that you against a League One side as well. I know they defended deep, especially when they went ahead. Like there was a point that
7 8 in the box
towards the second half.
Yeah.
Which fair enough, he would do.
You can't blame him.
No, but those times you think, just be better. Like how many times we've seen, like
that was like that last's video I've seen going on. Just work harder, just get a
24
job.
hours. We're going to 24 hours.
Best email, yeah.
Best email, like there's, I remember. Which group was it? I was wondering that. No, WhatsApp group. Someone saying Joe Linton's decision making was terrible. I didn't think it was as bad as St. Maximin, to be honest with you.
He grew into the game. He started off poorly. Like
Perez, who's doing it over Mark's shoulder there, he would do that sometimes where you'd see him run the byline and just pick the wrong pass.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's a different player at Maximin, but
there
was that kind of thing where you'd think, that's where you
shoot. There was a couple. Shoot.
But that was
just hit the bar.
That was the frustrating thing, because there was times where he should shoot and he didn't. He just held on to the ball, stopped dead.
About St. Maximin,
yeah.
Oh, I was saying
he would just stop. He wouldn't have a shot, and then there was other times where he would attempt a shot when there was a simple pass on or a better pass to move in and stuff like that. But
Joe Linton had that one where he kind of hit it across. He won't have a go on his left foot, so he hit it on his right and whatever. And there was one where he let it run across his body on the edge of the box.
It's unbelievable.
But it was running slightly. He just even misjudged it and missed the ball ran past him basically.
I don't know who. I think maybe Richie played it, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" Yeah, right on the edge of the box, hit it, and he tried to look for a pass. I couldn't believe. I was like, "What? You hit the ball?"
What I'm thinking of, it looked as if he kind of let it run across his body to kind of come onto it, and he just misjudged it and just didn't. And they cleared it. It felt like Joe Linton evolved a little bit. At times, he's very, very good deeper, but going forward, aside from the goal he scored against, was it Burnley? Left footer in bottom corner.
And that was Brentford.
Yeah. Yes, it was Brentford. 3-3. Apart from that, he just doesn't. He hasn't got an instinctive kind of finish about him for me.
Well, he hasn't. I also think he always seems to really look leggy when he gets into that final area. Do you know, when you think he's coming through on the goal, he really not saying stumbles necessarily, but just looks a little bit out of sorts. Maybe he is.
Yeah.
I mean, we did.
Massively.
Very
similar kind of gait.
I don't think Joe Linton necessarily played poorly, but Again, though, I mean, let's be fair here. I mean, we're playing the opposition we're playing against.
Yeah.
I am kind of expecting Joe Linton to really take the game to them. I am, regardless if he's playing deep or playing centre midfield or whatever. I don't like St. Maximin playing up front on his own. I don't like it at all. It just doesn't work. But in fairness, they had no maybe other option because Gale's clearly not fit, is he, or whatever?
It's weird that because I've not heard anything about him not being fit, but he just wasn't even on the bench, was he?
No, he wasn't on the bench. So there must be something out with Gale. Like,
well, there was rumours on Saturday after the game or during it that he had COVID,
right?
Because he wasn't even kind of there at the stadium or anything like that. So that was it hasn't been confirmed. Obviously, the club haven't been passing comment on who has or who hasn't. But when you look online at Physio Room,
I do think it's small margins to a degree because I think if he crosses that ball and Longstaff scores, and he's charging through the middle, he had 3 players coming towards him, and he didn't look that Murphy was there. He just knew he was there. Obviously, maybe got a shout. He played a lovely ball to Murphy, and Murphy tried to bend it in. I thought it was a poor attempt.
Yeah, Murphy's not a good finisher.
It was dreadful, really. Piss poor. But if he scores there and Longstaff scores, he's got to assist. It's his job. So I appreciate you might not leave the ball off at the right time. It frustrates me. I was furious at the moment, Trippier, as you've said.
That one,
furious I was. Why not just give it back to him? He's standing there. I'm well aware of these frailties. I am well aware of them all. The point I'm making, though, is that even when he is frustrating, the chances that we created 9 times or 8 times out of 10 probably do come from him. Probably. And if they don't, well, all right, fair enough. But like, as I've just mentioned, them 2 chances there, if we score them 2 goals,
that's fair.
I mean, it's not his fault that I haven't put them in the net, is it? Well, you're disagreeing for some reason. What's he doing wrong there? So he's crossed the ball and he misses, and that's Saint's fault, is it? Or is he too fast for them again or something? Or what?
You can't say that. Like, I know you said he was poor, but you'll never have a bad word said against him. He was. I mean, even when I said
I've just sat here and said I was furious.
No, but then you just turned around and said, "Oh well,
no,
them two."
I started that way. I started that way, saying it's a fine line. I said, if he played the way Longstaff played, I'd be sitting here fucking lifting the table. That's how bad Longstaff was.
No, I don't believe you would.
What?
I don't believe you would.
Well, I might not lift the table. It's quite heavy, like. But the point. So go back to the game itself then. So you're obviously saying Saint was shit. By the sound,
90% of the game.
So tell us, was anyone worse than him?
Worse than him, Longstaff.
Anyone else?
Kraft. Miggy when he came
horrific.
on.
Richie
when he came on.
Horrific.
Richie.
Fraser
played all right.
I don't think he's done anything.
Fraser played well.
I thought he worked damn hard.
Fraser and Murphy were our biggest threats on that team.
Shea was quite poor as well.
Shite. Yeah, horrific. Shea was horrific.
I mean, both the centre backs got bullied.
I'll tell you what,
I inside, didn't he?
Enjoy, if that's the right word.
That's worrying now.
The point in the first half where they're number 3, dropped the shoulder on St. Maximin, and then carried like 70 yards up the pitch.
Yeah,
he just skins St. Maximin, took so after it, wasn't it? And next thing you know, he's in front of us in the corner. I think, how's he done that?
The fucking fans were going, every time he went past the play, he was just running, wasn't he? Checking everybody on.
And that's where that lack of.
I thought Shelby played well the first half.
The body language, the lack of. I don't. The attitude side seems to come out because it looks like he can't be bothered. Because if you let a player go past you that easily, at least try and get back. At least try and put a tackle in. He's got plenty of pace.
He has.
He's got to attempt it.
I would to play it as a devil's advocate. Even like if you're the centre forward and someone's gone past you like that, you want to stay where you are in case they win the ball back. Then you're in position to counter. So if someone takes him on and hypothetically Longstaff wins it back, plays it through, there you are to Maximin. You've got a 1-on-1. I think when you're that far, if you're like a defensive midfielder or a centre half, yeah, of course, do that. As a centre forward, do you have to do that really?
You want at least try and trace the game a little bit. But it's that
10 minutes.
Like if you're gonna, like even from on a front foot point of view of pressing, closing down, putting under pressure, that type of thing was. And again, I know we'll come back to the fact he's not a striker, but if he's being played in that role, he's got to do those attributes of the game.
I'm not too sure in that instance. I agree. I think that he doesn't.
I don't expect him to chase him back to the corner flag.
Yeah,
but at least track him, try and use a bit of your strength, use a bit of your pace, just to try and put him off the ball, try and get a foot in. Yeah. If you at least slow him down, that then it'll bring somebody midfield into the game that then can come in front up to him.
I mean, you wouldn't expect that a League One left back with all the goodwill in the world is going to take on half a Premier League team's first team, like something like I say, went past 3 or 4. I can't remember who.
Well, I was waiting for someone to mention it. And he's pinning it on Sane, but he went.
I'm not pinning on Sane.
He
I'm
went
just
past the
saying
whole team. He went past everything. That's why they kept shouting, going Ray, because he was just going around every single player he come near. And even I was going, how? That's someone. Stop him, somebody. All right, you can point and say Sane maybe should have tracked back and stopped him immediately. But I will probably say I'm gonna get wrong here, but if I was Sane and I physically turned around and went, oh well, there's 8 to beat. Even I would go, I want them, I'll sort him. Next thing you know, you've taken everybody on.
But if he's saying he'll try and do that himself, so he knows players are going to do that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect a third division left back to have the attributes.
In there lies the problem as to why we got beat on Saturday. Because you don't expect a third division player to do it, but they were doing it. They were fighting for everything. They showed much more.
Well, you knew they'd do that. That's what, when a lower league, we do it. I'll say when a lower league team does it, we do it in the Premier League. That's how we got results against Man City a couple of years ago. It's how we've drawn with Liverpool, Man U a couple of times because we fought. And this game on Saturday, that's the thing. It's really hard to it's dead easy to go, oh, shite, you're terrible. I got beat 1-0 for 30. It's rubbish. The first half, they didn't.
First half wasn't bad.
The second half, they just couldn't break them down. They made too many mistakes at the back, which they always do. And they didn't have anything. It sounds daft to say they didn't play terribly. And then 2/3 of the team straight away saying, they were shite. But they just, when Cambridge sat back, all we could do was cross the ball in. We didn't have the guile or the kind of wherewithal to kind of try and play through them.
It was shocking to constantly keep crossing the ball.
A couple of little touches that Willock had that I thought, these couple of little touches I thought, was quite clever how he's done that and just played around the corner or like flicked it and it's rolled on.
I seen that. Yeah, it was good. That one.
And he had a couple of nice little touches, but then when Miggy came on and St. Maximin in the second half, all they did was pick the ball up, inverted, run across the edge of the box. There was one St. Maximin put, I think they hit the corner flag.
It was about 4 or 5.
There was a few. Miggy just had nothing at all. Like it was.
There's 3 or 4 shots I remember that stand out. One was a Saints that he spooned straight to the right hand side. He took on a few players, but it was the same old. I'm coming inside 100 miles an hour. Same thing. Obviously, spoons that one way out of play. Shea hits one from about 50 yards, which goes in the Gallowgate. Miggy hits one that nearly hits Martin the Heath. And I think Willock had 2. Christ almighty, man. It's just horrendous, man.
But the keeper made that one save from Murphy. That was a brilliant save. That
Unbelievable. The one from Joe's header.
Great header. That was saved towards the end. And there, what Decker says, and I know if ifs and buts were, if me, Andy had tits, etc. I love that one. But like, those chances, 2 goals rightly disallowed, but that, and then the keeper doesn't make that either of those saves, but both of which are well beyond what you'd expect them to do. Then they think, well, it wasn't. And I'm not saying it was a good performance by any stretch of the mind.
No, you would feel you'd got away with it.
We've scraped through. We probably deserved it more or less because we had all the ball, we just couldn't get through them. They were too well organised.
On paper, like when you look at what we did with the amount of shots we had on target, the amount of shots we created, the amount of possession, the amount of passes, crosses, etc. That on paper is a easy 4 or 5 goals in normal circumstances.
We could have been 3 up at half time. We really could have been.
With Callum Wilson playing, you're probably 2 up at half time.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Now, obviously, it doesn't change the fact what happened. Like, of course, but what I'm saying, I think I put in the group saying if we play like we have just there, we'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. Like, I know it's 0-0, but we've battered them. Let's be fair.
How many times have we said that this season? Though, if we continue to play like that, that's the worrying thing.
Yeah, the McLaren season, those times out the first 20 minutes, I thought we're playing really well here, and then we'd get turned out 5-6 out.
I do feel like
away last season.
Yeah, because I found. Well, I mean, everyone. I thought the first half, well, not everyone, but I thought Shelby was very good the first half. Yeah, played some lovely passes, starting moves off. He played a lush one to Fraser right on the edge of the. That's the one where Murphy had that chance where Murphy kind of stabs it into the ground and the keeper saves it. But he plays Fraser in so well, Jonjo, brilliant. But I thought the second half, I thought Shelby and St. Maximum, that was when they were absolutely dreadful. I thought St. in the second half was dreadful, the second half. And I thought he should have been hooked, to be honest with you, instead of Murphy. Because when Murphy got dragged, obviously, did the crowd boo or anything on that one? Or was I wrong there?
Don't think
Maybe
so.
I misheard that one.
I remember.
I mean, I'm still baffled by that decision to take him off. Like at that point,
you didn't see me struggling out like that.
No, as I say, because we actually changed it in second half, and he went through the middle, and Saint went out to the left, and
which is not fair on Murphy either, to be fair. Like, but you know, it is what it is.
But what we then started doing was hitting it through, letting him run onto it, and that's when he obviously scored the offside goal using his pace, which is what we probably should have been looking to do more because they were sitting deep. So we didn't have anybody that was dragging them out to be able to get in behind. So it was limited to those chances where it was just a ball through or a one over the top that he could chase into.
They were clever, to be fair, because they realised obviously that we didn't have a centre forward. Obviously, first of all, so they played dead narrow and almost willingly went, just have it out wide. We're not asked.
Yeah,
we're not asked. Have it out wide, and you can cross it all night long. And in fairness here, if you are a third division side, probably crosses in the box is what you're meat and drink. It's what you're used to,
well,
right?
that's when you look at like the defenders that we've got who deal with themselves is probably one of the better ones to have a deal with that because he not to be a dick about it, but he's limited. He's not a great footballer, but he can get up and be strong. And I mean, players like John Terry wasn't a wonderful footballer, but he was so good at that part of the game. But the lower down, you do get more because you get more crossing in the box. You get more
long balls, crosses in the box, and that they would have loved that.
Yeah,
and bearing in mind they would have also loved it because we didn't have a centre forward. So like they were just. I know. Look, Edward's put on, but even I was saying when I was watching me, going, why are we consistently crossing this ball?
Yeah.
We need to try and work it into the box. But we weren't even. We were just blindly crossing it in, and there's nobody there.
It was like we've got Trippier who can cross the ball now, so all we're going to do is cross the ball in.
Yeah. Now, ironically, and you'll laugh, this is when you laugh, but I, in that instance, would have put Joe Linton up front. I would have put Joe. I know that's not his position, and we've had this argument, but I would have done it in that one.
He can hold. He's a big, strong lad.
He's a big, strong lad. He would have given
them. It was his header that was safe towards the end.
It was actually. Yeah. It's probably the only header we made, to be quite honest with you, in the game. That's what I would have done.
It would have made more sense. And I seen a poll today from Toon Polls about who would you start up front on Saturday, and I'd probably go with Joe Linton just to give you that so that there is a bit of a focal point.
True, but he's been very good in midfield. To be fair,
I know he has, but
he's been very good in there. He's been very good.
We're completely toothless up front at the minute because, like what we were saying there about the amount of crosses into the box and stuff like that, like all it took was a little bit of intelligence from the players that were in the box just to drop back because they were all just getting sucked in to the goal. They weren't hanging back, coming, just drop into the penalty spot or the edge of the box. It was just let's just get sucked towards that goal, which ironically happens at the other end with our defenders. They always get sucked in, and it just needed somebody to have a little bit of intelligence, just to hang back.
I think,
or to arrive late to the box.
Yeah, I think that's if Wilson or Gill were on, I honestly believe that would have happened. I just feel that when you're playing players when it's not their natural position, and that I wouldn't say panic's on, but that we need to try and score a goal. And I do think that I understand what you're saying, totally right, that just have a bit of common sense. But I think sometimes it's like, shit, I need to get in this box, get the ball, and there's a bit of panic there. We need a goal. And sort of the way you should probably be playing goes out of it. And for me, I also point at the people crossing the ball, where I just feel like, sure, if I was a player, I'd be like, I'm sure I've crossed this ball 40 times today and now it's happened.
Yeah.
Like, let's look inside. Can I play a ball around the corner? Can I do something a bit different? Trippier tried it a few times to Fraser, where he played a little ball on over the top of Fraser. Fraser just couldn't get onto them a couple of times, just couldn't quite get there. But I was getting sick and tired of just crossing malarkey, like, with doing me in. Now, if you're going to sign Chris Wood, that's all right.
I'll tell you
who
who
will bang them in.
Who I've gone for, if not Chris Wood. I've been banging this drum for years now. It's not Ruben Neves, it's Mikel Antonio.
I thought you were going to say
that's never going to happen, though, is it?
Never going to happen, though, is it?
Why not?
I knew you were going to. No.
West Ham's never going to sign him, sell him.
Give them enough money, they will do.
Oh, that's worked out well for the centre defender so far, isn't it?
That's not no one's ever going to sell anyone. That's not how it works.
No, but
it would be I think he's wasn't he 31, 32, so he's not a young lad. And the same age as Trippier, maybe. But he would have been perfect on Saturday.
We could have just kept Andy Carroll for another player.
Mikel Antonio.
Well, I know that, but
we might as well have just kept fucking Peter with.
So I think what we'll do if we look at some of the transfers, if people do have any questions that they want to send our way, we'll go through as many questions as we want in this one. What?
Cool.
What? Me or you?
Me.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I don't know why I did that.
I thought you were touching his boob there. I thought
was that the first question?
That's why that's
on now. Fucking hell. Right, so just because you started on the likes of Antonio there, do you not think it's a little bit of a pipe dream at the current position where we are right now? What's if you offer enough money? What is enough money for him?
I don't know what enough money for him is.
It's going to be a lot.
It's probably going to be about 40 million, like, isn't it? I mean, I don't think he's worth that much. Don't get us wrong. I'm not saying like, well, yeah, I suppose I am saying that. But yeah, I think where West Ham are,
Does it not mean
There's
something to
no
you?
chance.
Why don't we just go and buy Podolski?
So if you look over the table,
You're
Mark's
tired,
literally
eh?
laughing
He'd
at
do it,
your
wouldn't he?
comment. Does that not
Podolski.
show
Why
something?
not?
Mark gets everything wrong.
How are you, man?
We're not good now.
I will not get him, but I would-
there's no way on earth
Test
that
the
we
water.
sign him.
Him and
Any
Callum
chance.
Wilson are best buds. I've got a podcast.
I appreciate that, but West
Look
Ham
at
aren't going to
Look at sitting in the series. Look at bubble up together.
Bubble up
Bubble
together.
up together.
I've got one question though about
Couple
the
of good
game
old
just for a
boys.
second.
Mhm.
There goes offside, right?
Shelby touches it.
I haven't seen it.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Of course, it does. It's gone
Of
to
course it
VAR.
does.
And they've said, "Oh no."
Oh, VAR. I didn't trust them fuckers. If let's say
Hey, borrowed Mark's tinfoil hat for this one. Like,
no. I'm sorry, no. If the player, let's say you were out wide, right, and let's say I was trying to pass to you, right, and then Shelby or Chris, for example, then it hit him and went to say Mark, it was through on goal. That's not offside because the attacker's not trying to play the ball to that player. That player who had the ball is trying to pass to the guy who's offside. Doesn't matter if it hit Shelby or not. For me, he is blatantly trying to pass the ball to him.
No, but if it just hit Shelby on the way through, then it would be offside. If it just like brushes on his leg and go through, but Shelby dangles his legs out. Shelby's trying to stop the ball getting through to that.
So hold on.
And as a result, he toes it into.
So if he
that
touches
guy.
the ball by not meaning it,
intentionally, yeah,
but the player's
he's onside.
already offside though.
doesn't matter because it's a separate phase of play.
That's absolute bollocks as far as I'm concerned.
So if we look at if it wasn't so minimal there, so let's say
It's the effectively like a back pass. That player's passed it to Shelby. Shelby's then
But he hasn't though.
played it through. He has in that the rules of the game because he's that final ball through.
Antonio's
Enough
just
for me.
signed a contract extension as well.
Has he?
Apparently so.
It doesn't matter. Got plenty of
Extra
money.
10 million. Oh, yeah, I mean, you love it up, yeah.
So we'll talk about Chris Wood. Decker, we were having this
Yeah.
chat not so long ago. You're happy with that, aren't you?
I am, yes, but I don't feel like Twitter and the fans will be. I mean, some of us around the table might be happy, but people
With what? Sorry, Chris Wood.
Chris Wood coming in, I think people would see that as, that was maybe the ceiling of Ashley. It's an Ashley signing that I think we could try and go and get Chris Wood. Some people's opinion might be. I don't think people will be happy with Chris Wood coming in this window.
Do you think
I
it's
would be
because-
I would be, like, definitely. I think,
Do you think people are getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, despite people saying we're not expecting the world straight away? Do you think it's a bit of an
seen some
underwhelming thing?
mad stuff today, like
Ridiculous.
some
isn't it?
absolutely crazy stuff I've seen.
I've come off because I just can't cope with what I see on there. I just can't cope. But it's
Because your mate's getting some stick again.
well, it's partly that as well. No, it is partly that. And
Doesn't
then,
like it, does he?
no, you've got a bee in your bonnet here. I don't know what else I can say. I don't know what else he wants to say. He had a
Did you
poor
say that he
game.
was shit?
How many times have I Bestie helped us? How many times have I said he was dreadful? How many times have I said
Not
it?
enough. I've never heard him say he was
It's
shit.
an independent.
I can see he's itching away, you know, about it. I've said he was shit, Mark. He was
You
terrible.
tried to defend him
Is it-
constantly.
He was terrible.
Is it kind
Good,
of like
thank
how
you.
you
He was
try?
terrible.
Great.
Shite.
I agree.
I think we should sell him, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Is
But
it
no,
similar like how you were trying to defend Matt Ritchie the other week?
Worse than that.
no. But Chris Wood, I think. See, there's links with this lad who's 19-year-old. I've seen tonight.
It's from Monaco.
I've never seen him play in my life. Right?
I think we should take a break on this transfer talk, but we will talk about Kitty Cat. Terrible. Every time I see his name, I just think it's called Kitty Cat.
We're not
Have a break, Kit Kat.
Oh my!
No, yeah, no.
It's Kitty Cat. That's what it looks like to me.
Right, Decker, what were you going to say?
Hugo,
'Cause that
Kitty
was
Cat.
the worst thing I've ever
I know it's a
heard in my life.
Kitty or something
Right,
like
shut
that.
the fuck
But
up. Right.
never mind.
Decker, what were you going to say?
fuck.
Yes, listen, I don't know anything about the lad, so my opinion doesn't mean shit, really. But I just think a 19-year-old kid who scored 6 or 7 goals here coming into what we need, I just don't think so. Right now, having said that, this player could come in and may be an amazing player in 3 to 4 or 5 years. It could be unbelievable. We might miss the boat here. I just think looking at someone that could come in and do a job at this minute in time to get us in the keep way in the division, I'd rather have Chris
But
Wood.
the talk is as having somebody with experience and having one for the future.
Oh,
I would imagine he's
so-
the one for the future.
Well, I would think so. I don't think Chris Wood's the one.
Well, no.
yeah.
So, but
No,
like you see, he's 19. He's been touted as being the next best thing coming
Well,
out of
next
of
Mbappe,
France.
I
but
hate these things.
He's only started
He's only
playing this
21 or
season
something,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
He is, listen, he's the next one, Batman. I don't know. I got cringe when I hear things like that. How many next
the
matches there
way
would be
the
in-
way I look at Chris Woods is Is he better than what we've got? Is he better than what we've got available at the moment? 100%. Will he improve our team at this given time? 100%. So it's a no-brainer.
I agree with you.
Is
I
he-
want him, but I mean,
Is he
yeah.
a prestige signing that is going to excite people, excite me? No, he's not. But I would still be pleased to have him.
Thing is, we've said since the takeover happened, most of us, as a support, as a fan base, have said that we don't want to go down we'll sign Robinho straight away, like what Man City did back in whenever, 2008-9. We'll want sensible, want players that are going to improve, we'll do it incrementally. It hasn't got to be immediately, right, we're going to sign. The Amazon Prime thing where you've got Mbappe, Haaland, all these players like photoshopped in the Newcastle kit. Like, that's not going to happen. That isn't feasible. It's not right. What you want to do is get players all we need is players that'll keep up. And we've got a far better chance of staying up with Chris Wood than we'll have without him.
Totally agree.
Or not without him, without a striker.
Yep.
There's better players than Chris Wood out there. He would be that game again. I think we've already said the game on Saturday. He would have been perfectly suited for.
Oh, would have won 10 now.
He's not quite as much as Mikel Antonio, but he's a striker. It's a claret and blue thing. Get someone from Shields. Barley Mumba scored for Peterborough.
We did the same in the Championship, didn't we? When we were struggling for a striker, we thought we'll go out and buy a big, strong, tall journeyman, stick him up front, and he did very well for it, didn't he?
Darryl Murphy. Yeah,
I think as well,
no, he did actually,
another
right?
time to stay off Twitter, because the opposition fans here are going to go wild here, by the way, when we sign Chris Wood. Like, they'll be like, why are Mbappe is? Because we know around this table and people that watch it, we know that that's not the type of player that we've expected to get. We know that, but there'll be a lot of shit on there when we sign Chris. If we sign Chris Wood, I'm telling you.
There's a double positive, as it also weakens Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it
does. It does, no doubt about it.
Substantially.
No doubt about it, yeah.
But then you look at I'm trying to think of strikers. There are strikers like Raul Jimenez is one that come to mind. We wouldn't get him either, obviously. But there's strikers like in mid-table lower who would do a job, but it's getting the right one. And I can't even think of clubs down there. Rondon, bring him home.
I wouldn't have Rondon back.
He's struggled massively,
Rondon,
hasn't he?
Rafa,
at Everton?
Townsend, get them all back.
I'd have Townsend, like.
Call back.
The Everton fans boo him coming on. It's terrible, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really bad. That
I think what we're looking at though, and once again, Decker, we touched on this before we start recording. We've got serious concerns if you bring Chris Wood in till whenever. So say we give him 2.5-year contract, similar to what Trippier has had. I still think you're relying on him and solely him for the rest of the season, because we don't know if Callum Wilson is the rumoured to be 8 weeks. He could come back, play a couple of games, and get injured again. You need two strikers this transfer window, 100%.
Yeah, and to Mark's point, Mark said that obviously it might be his Kit Kat joke, and then obviously Wood. Maybe as you're saying, the younger guy who can still come on and clearly got talent apparently in that. But I do agree with the point where I'm not in the boat of, in 8 weeks' time Wilson's going to be back and life's going to be great. Yeah, because you're just unsure. You don't really know, do you? He could go down again.
Yeah.
He might not be fully fit if he comes back. It might take him a while to get going. You just don't know. So I think I'm in your camp in that regard. That I think if you get Wood in, you're almost pinning that he's going to be the guy to do the job for throughout till now.
So a lot of rumours. The other striker who's been mentioned, Bestie, is Origi.
Oh yeah, Liverpool. Yeah.
From Liverpool will be a great signing for us. I would imagine. The only thing which worries me is the fact that are Liverpool going to let him go with Salah, Mane,
Firmino?
Is he with as well? Is he?
Oh no, sorry, I didn't know where you were going.
No.
Salah and Mane are away to the African
Firmino,
nations, aren't they?
Brazilian.
Firmino's Brazilian, yeah.
No, he's not there.
Brazil is not in Africa.
It is not in Africa. No.
Contrary to popular belief.
So you've got Mane and Salah missing.
Yeah.
Are they gonna let Origi go, or will they hold out till the very end of January, see how far?
I don't know, because then
the tournament.
you've still got Firmino, you've got Diego Jota. I don't really know enough about Liverpool's squad to say who they're going to have left behind, but Origi, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about Origi. I've not seen him play that often.
He doesn't start that often for him, does he? So you don't get
that one goal against Barcelona where Trent Alexander-Arnold cut that corner back.
That one against us as well.
He scored against us.
Last game of the season, no one won 3-2.
Did he score that day, did he?
I'm sure he scored the last goal, the winning goal.
He always looks very good for them because he comes on and generally
is he Belgian?
Scores a goal and does well.
Would he take Christian Benteke?
Is he doing these? Or we're just like
Palace,
how we're going now? Like
I'm just thinking of big lads.
All right, okay.
And Neil Heskey, is he still about?
I think. Do you know what it is? I think the problem that we have, and probably even a bigger problem for the owners right now, is that it's January and we're extremely limited in the players that are available. Completely different market in the summer transfer window.
I'm just worried that we're getting hung up on this big lad up front thing, and will it mean that we just start doing what we've done when we get desperate and just starting to lump it up front, hitting long balls and stuff like that? And I know why we're talking about it is because obviously we've got Trippier, who is great at putting a ball into the box, but you know that it doesn't necessarily mean he's having to put it in for somebody to attack with a header. You just
the thing, if I may interject, Mark,
you may.
The game on Saturday is a little bit of an outlier in that teams aren't going to set up like how Cambridge did.
Yeah.
We're not going to be putting 30, 40 crosses into the box every game because teams won't sit as deep or play as narrow as Cambridge did against us. So, do we need a big man? I mean, I think back to some of the balls that kind of tripped. Yeah, that one that Luke Shaw scored in the Europa, the final the other week.
Mm-hmm.
July.
That week.
Old age at. It hasn't necessarily got to be a big man on the end of the ball. Like, you know, it could be St. Maximin, there could be Murphy, it could be
it's somebody arriving late as well, or into space like we were talking about.
Well, it did it so well.
What it used to do.
He was really good at it.
Ironic, isn't it?
Well, it's bizarre what's happening to him. Like, but yeah, I don't think we're talking about a big man. Do we necessarily need it to be a big man? We need to be a good man.
Yeah,
I not like a socialist.
I don't think it needs to be a
good centre forward.
A big man. I just think that this guy's available. That's what it is.
Totally. Oh no, you kind of
I guess if it's true about this release clause in his contract, then I think that's why they're talking about him, isn't it?
The thing is, if there's a release clause, there's no excuse for them not to getting him in through the door and playing the Watford.
As long as you agree personal terms, which you wouldn't expect to be an issue, but
you'd hope so. I mean, he's been at Burnley for 3-4 seasons now because he was at Leeds.
Leeds.
So you'd hope that. I mean, he's been Burnley long enough now that come Newcastle for a little bit.
Is he? I don't know if he's just that.
Maybe he's racist.
Is mobile and is work. It's a lot of history in Burnley, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether he's got the mobility and work rate of what we would need from a striker. That's why I don't know.
You've got to track back.
I don't know whether he would like lead the line the way that we need to if being on that front foot. Yes, he's going to be there as a focal point. I don't know what else, whether he'd give us enough other than that bit of strength up front.
What else does Wilson give you?
That work rate, that effort, the running the lines, the closing down, the pressing. Ironically, Remy. So it's when you look at it's because I went Barber and then I went Bar. But then when you look at the other ones that were like bloody
Ferreira,
Doumbia, Riviere,
he's 80,
like them kind of like it is a big risk, and that's why it is probably
so. On the flip side, then it's a little bit here. So there's apparently a few available on loan, though, right? Like Martial, I got Aubameyang on loan, possible. Like I'm not saying I just mean they are available. Yeah. We know they are available. Would you rather go for Aubameyang, say, for the 6 months, or buy Wood?
Buy Wood.
Oh, that's a good question.
Get myself straight at that timber yard.
I don't think there's any question Aubameyang's a far better player than Wood, but
it's everything that comes with him, the baggage and the attitude, isn't it?
He's also more versatile a player than Wood.
He's also not going to be available till February.
That's the other thing.
Oh, sure, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Which is when you're then thinking, oh, well, Wilson's probably going to be looking to be coming back. You would hope by then. But somebody like, again, Martial's probably in that similar kind of thing. But is that because he's not playing and he feels frozen out? I don't know. Is that the attitude? We've talking about Lingard. Lingard would walk into our
really
team.
Quiet about anything to do with Lingard going anywhere.
Well, I think he came out and said he wasn't. He wasn't going anywhere.
All right,
so that's probably why.
I saw someone mention West Ham last week. I don't know if that was just because he was there last season.
That would be the choice where he would go.
Makes sense, doesn't it? He's been there, worked with them.
The people are watching, I do want to apologise. There has been a couple of super chats which have gone off the screen, so I can't get them back. But I'll remember them at the end, and I'll remember to mention these.
But I think that's why we need to be looking at the looking at the top of the table and looking at strikers that are at those clubs but are around the fringes of it. Can't get a regular game, so people like Origi, he still gets his games.
There's a shout here. So Shane Saunders says Ings has just scored for Villa. He'd be one that he'd love. Do you think that Chris Wood could do the same for us as what Ings has done since he's gone to Villa?
He was.
I think Ings is better.
That's where I
He is
was.
a better player.
My mind's going with Ings is better, and
But it seems like he's gone to Villa and complete outperforming what I was expecting him to do at Villa.
he's playing in the front three though, isn't he?
Forget how good a player, because he had that with Liverpool and didn't work. He got injured, but everywhere he's been,
He should have
Tremendous
Southampton.
at Southampton.
he's been
Tremendous.
he's a good striker, Danny Ings.
He is, yeah.
He's a very good striker.
In fairness, I don't like Villa and all the rest of it, but I have to say, Ings and that Watkins have got Coutinho in there now. They've got a good little side going, and they're getting that Digne who we wanted.
Well, apparently, our WhatsApp way of backing from again now.
Oh, well, we'll see. But but I understand the point you're trying to make. You know, you're bringing someone in. And I'm on the fence. I actually wouldn't mind Martial on loan because I still think there's not much risk there, really. I think in terms of if he's actually
some of these players need a fresh start at a different club.
Yeah,
he might want to go to abroad. And I know Sevilla's been mentioned a lot, hasn't it? Sevilla and that, so that's fair enough. But it's hard for me to look at someone like Martial who clearly hasn't been getting game time. The quality he's got, and we don't even have a striker, and we're kind of tutting about it. Like, I find that hard to do.
It's the baggage side of it, isn't it?
It is, which I haven't thought about. But Andy Hamilton, it's got a great point here. Bessie, I'll come to you. He says the dumbest thing that we did this window is let Wilson put out the statement on his Instagram saying, "I'm going to be out for ages."
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, because
he played the cards a lot closer to the chest and tried to put that. Oh, he's only expected to be out for a few weeks.
I wonder if they've had to have a word with him about that, because that's a really good point. Something I hadn't thought of, but no, it's true that
that's a great point. That
everyone knows Newcastle have got money, and that. Well, I mean, I suppose people
got money and desperate.
Yeah. I mean, even if Wilson was fit, we were meant to be in the market for a striker, weren't we? So I don't think
you would like to think we would have been. Like,
I mean, that's what people seem to be. Look at what the journalists were saying that before the window even opened, they were saying stuff like that. So that's a very good point, Andy Hamilton. Fair play, Andy. Yeah, you're right.
No, in our club, it would have been leaked somewhere. Someone would have found out. Just knowing what we are like. I mean, it seems to be
would have been on physioroom.com.
Everything seems to get leaked. But it's a good point. No, it's a good point.
Yeah, it is.
But I've been it's difficult here because I'm going to get wrong off people. It's a big week, isn't it? Though I feel like it's a big week because I'm very, very happy with Trippier and stuff, but the Botman situation seems to have gotten away from her a bit.
Yeah,
but I think that's no fault of the club.
I agree.
Goalpost a lot.
I'm not saying it's anything to do with the owners. I'm not saying I'm just saying it's disappointing. That's what I'm saying. It's just disappointing that we're linked with a player who clearly wants to come, but when I'm hearing and he doesn't, it's just disappointing. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter how deflating it is. Like if January the 10th, if 2 weeks ago you'd have said, "Oh, Newcastle would sign Kieran Trippier in the first week of the window," piss off, and then like
that's what we would have said.
It was saved that for you for later on. Well, I like you'll sign Kieran Trippier on the 4th or 5th, whatever it was. And then later in the month, you'll get this one. You're going like, I sign someone like Trippier as early as that, definitely. Yeah. But it's just funny how your perception and stuff changes. Like if you win a game and draw a game, if you draw the first one, win the second one, it's like, oh, get him off, won that. If you get the same 4 points, but the other way around, to draw the second game, think, oh, I wasn't really that good last time, was it? And I think that's happened a little bit with this window where Trippier is a fantastic signing. He's not going to do it all on his own, but I still believe that. And I said this last week, he wouldn't have signed if he hadn't been told, right, here's the plan, here's what we're going to be. He hasn't just come to Newcastle to get loads of money and get relegated. I think he wants to be a successful player at Newcastle. He's got a World Cup coming up in 11 months' time, 10 months' time. He wants to be playing at a Premier League football club at a decent level, winning games, because that's how you get in Gareth Southgate's plans and all that. So I still think that is this week a big one? Yeah, it probably is. The month is, I mean... I'm saying that, but it's the games we've got. It's Watford and Leeds next 2 games,
and that's
games that I'll be coming. I'm not a must-win type of person, but they are more important than I would like them to be.
And if we hadn't got beat on Saturday, we wouldn't be feeling so desperate about the situation that we're in, because you would feel a bit more positive about it.
So going in that game against Watford, Mark. So we're going.
My auntie had tits.
We're going in that game against Watford. Who's starting up front?
Joe, that is what I'd do, like, just to give you that
Joe up top,
that presence, yeah.
Right, okay. I'll disagree with that one because I think Joe's too important in the role he's playing at the minute to force.
He is, but he's the only one that can have a little bit of intelligence to actually get the ball and hold it up, and it allows you to then play Saint in his better position of out on the wing rather than have him wasted through the middle.
If Joe's taken out of the midfield position, who are you going to put in there? Because every single one in midfield, apart from John Joe Shelby right now, is absolutely atrocious.
Isn't it mad how all of a sudden Joe Linton's become a most important player in two positions?
Crazy.
Well, I just think we need to ride the wave as well. I think obviously the Man United game he played amazing. Everyone was talking about him.
He was excellent.
And I just think we need to continue to ride that wave. I really do in that position.
You can't move him out of that position for me.
Who do you put? Murphy?
No, I think personally,
again?
I think he'll stick with Saint. It's not what I want, mind you, but I think he'll just stick with Saint. Because let's be fair, other than the option you have said, there is only him, really. It's not ideal. It's not what we want, but there is only him, unless Gale's fit.
And Watford aren't going to set up how Cambridge did.
Yeah, that was another point I was going to
mention. They're not going to have like that bank of 7 men 18 yards out and say, we'll play through, I'll try and cross the ball over. They're going to, because they need points, they need to attack us. Yeah. If they beat us, they open a 5-point gap between, and that's kind of, it then starts to look really micey. Whereas if we can beat them, they've got to, it's not as if they can just turn up and kind of hope for the best.
I don't think they've had a clean sheet of that. There was some, I've seen a stat somewhere.
No, yeah, we'll go.
And yeah, that mean worry. Well, obviously the other side of that is I agree, they're at home. They're definitely going to want to come out a lot more than what Cambridge would. Of course they would. And who would you know, if you played, I'm not saying you will, but if you played Murphy and you've got Saint up front, you would hope the pace is at some point in the game is going to cause them trouble.
I would hope, right? I would go to Maximin.
Yeah.
I don't like him as a forward particularly.
No, I don't.
I think he's going to be. I think you're going to get more out of Joe Linton deeper, and I think St. Maximin's going to offer you not more than Joe Linton up front necessarily, but I think it's stronger having those two as opposed to Joe Linton up top, and then this kind of chasm in the middle of the pitch where like you've got Longstaff who. I was amazed by how slow Longstaff looked at the weekend. Yeah, it was like Stephen Carr when someone's slower than they look, and they look slow. I know, not to go right back, but his touch as well was so poor. It was desperately poor. God. It really was.
Really poor.
But then you got who else? Shelby and Longstaff.
See, I'd probably go with a 4-2-3-1, and you are looking to have Shelby and Longstaff in there, and then you're probably looking at either Willock or I was nearly saying bloody Perez there. Willock or Miggy in behind Joe, and then you have Saint and either Fraser or Murphy.
Because you've mentioned him, Perez. Is it worth trying to get him back?
100%, yeah.
For the situation that
he never worked as a striker, did he?
He scored 2 goals, man.
He did, but it was always as a backup, like the second man.
So let's say we bring Chris Wood in, right? Let's say that's done. In an ideal world, it's done, right? Do you also bring Perez in?
It could potentially work because obviously Willock and Miggy aren't at the moment, are they? And that would be if
I had a choice now between, and obviously we don't know what Perez is like at the minute because he's just sitting on the bench most of the time at Leicester. But if I look at our bench and you've got Jose Perez and you've got Miggy Almiron on there, I'm bringing Perez on first.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, it is January, which is when he traditionally starts playing.
Yeah. I get that 2 back as well.
But that's the thing. He wanted away. He didn't want to be here, did he?
No, which is he had a big move, right? I mean, it was a big move, 30 million to a club that was
buyout
really
close, wasn't it?
Head and shoulders above us. You know, certainly at that time as well. Crikey, there was no hope for us, was there? But I think as well. But the club's saying Wood would bring Perez if he's on the bench. I agree with you, but you have to just be. We're not going to sign him, probably. Are we?
It's not going to.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. You've got to be careful. I've sat here and talked about how Mourinho was manager and stuff, and we've got Bruce. And I worry that sometimes we'll go down an angle. Christ, last week we saw about win the FA Cup or get relegated. What would you rather? Well, by a university team.
Relegate next year.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's I've got to be careful.
But that's the position that we need to be looking at is. You go to a top club and a striker that isn't getting their game there, that would come here and improve us. But I think that's why you're looking at it around those clubs up there. And
I think every club is, though. I think Southampton's still trying to find Ings as replacement still now. The Armstrong hasn't worked. Hasn't worked. Burnley will clearly be obviously wanting to try and do something, even though they haven't got much money. But I think every club outside of Everton will still be looking for someone because they've got Rondon. He's getting booed on and off the pitch. Rafa would still technically love an alternative for Lewin when he's not fit, Calvert-Lewin.
Let's have him in a shot.
Of course, 100%, absolutely love him. But
not if he's taking penalties like he was the other day.
It's a position which it has been for years where it's so damn difficult to get it right. Unless you're Man City and just don't play one and win anyway. But it is really, really difficult to find the right guy and someone that's willing to let them go. Origi does sound great and it makes sense, but with Salah going away for a bit, Klopp's never going to want to let him go, is he?
But they've already got like 4 or 5 strikers that are there, so it's like.
But they're also in every competition going, you know, in a sense, you know what I mean?
He is out of contract at the end of the season.
That's the point. That is a point. Yeah, I would definitely have him. Like,
well, the teams around it, you can look at, like, we've obviously talked about Chris Wood at length. You've got, like, hypothetically, Timu Pukki in Norwich.
No,
I think he improves it.
I
think a bag of sand improves it up the top. Honestly, at the minute,
from that point of view of energy, closing down, chasing around, he's brilliant at that.
But I think the only way he improves it is because we don't have a striker. That's the only reason why
I
he
give
improves
that
it right now.
Yeah, but that still improves it enough to steal maybe.
But then
more than Wood.
No, I'd take a Wood.
Okay,
I would take Wood ahead of Pukki. Like, I like that.
Very different players, though, aren't they?
Watford, Dennis.
Yeah.
He's only been able 10 minutes. Like,
he scores all the time.
Back in this position where though.
Well, he should have been away at the AFCON as well, shouldn't he?
We were talking about a few weeks ago. We're talking about how deep our pockets are and how much money is available to it, and we're looking at the likes of Chris Wood and Pukki.
Well, you've got to look at who will come in to keep you up.
Good point. Like. It's the point. What he's making is right, and I.
If that's Mike Ashley looking at those two players, we're sat here spitting feathers.
I don't think so. I don't think we are, mate. Because I don't think Mike Ashley would consider those two. No,
you don't think we're sat here bring
not
Pukki
a
in?
chance.
I don't think Mike Ashley would have. He
wouldn't. Fuck me.
Well, Pukki's 30, 31. He would probably cost 20 odd million, 30 million.
Wouldn't have trip.
Ashley wouldn't.
Ashley was still either.
No,
I'm not talking about that. But
he would be.
If we got in the summer, right? If we get linked for a move of Pukki, we're not happy.
Not in the summer.
No, but it's
summer's a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it?
I think
it's where we are at this
I'm not
time.
saying we should have him, but I think he improves.
Yeah.
If you get him in,
Is he better than Gale?
I don't know.
Well, he's players. Gale's
think he
just
is,
never
like-
fit.
He is.
Gale's
100% better
not
than
played
Gale.
for Finland once. Pukki's got fucking loads of caps for him.
Yeah, Gale's finish.
Yeah, well, he is
He's 28.
finished. He is finished. But I think I don't know. I think I would actually be quite happy with Chris Wood, but as I said at the very beginning, there'll be a hell of a lot of fans, aren't you know? Because in some of them, I still think, other than Mark, we're sensible. You know what I mean? And we know. I'm just kidding, man. And we understand that the takeover's coming. There's so many people on social media were like, "This is it." Like New Year's Day, man. I went on New Year's Day, and people were like, "This is it. We're close going to be reborn the next 30 days. We are going to go wild. We're going to buy this. We're going to buy that." And I knew it's not going to be like that. It's just not yet. Anyway, maybe 5 years, 6 years time. But I'm a great believer in here and now. In that, if Chris Wood comes in, I honestly thoroughly believe he can do a job to keep us in the division.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
I really do. And
Which is what Murphy, who we mentioned before, did. Daryl Murphy, he scored goals for in the championship. He got promoted.
Yeah, you've got to live in the moment a bit more, haven't you? In terms of where we are. I mean, Trippier, as I said the year before, that was the one I never expected. Probably nobody did. And I still think, and I hope I'm wrong, he will be the standout signing, I believe, of the window. I don't think we'll sign someone better than Trippier in terms of his experience, his quality. I just don't. I think Trippier's, and that's fantastic. We're getting him. It's great. The rest might be, like, for example, Campbell was mentioned, right? And a lot of people in the group didn't want him.
I'd take him.
I would take him in a heartbeat. Massive fan of him.
Also gone quiet on that front.
It has, though, hasn't it? I've seen someone on Twitter like he crossed saying it's not happening.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Campbell, obviously, they played well for Norwich. Was it 2 seasons ago when they last up? I've not seen enough of him since to kind of.
He hasn't played.
He hasn't been featuring much, has he?
So there's something been going on there as well.
Well, he was injured. He was injured earlier this season. He had a falling out with the manager because obviously he was looking for.
But then, if you look at it from our point of view, we could say the same. So somebody looking on the outside, and let's say a Norwich fan, and Norwich on link with Fernandes, they'll be like, "Oh, he hasn't had much game time with Newcastle. He fell out with the last manager. He hasn't played under this manager."
Yep.
So they could look at that same situation. So
that's just a perfect point.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I honestly, you might know Norwich fans. I honestly believe Norwich fans would be like, he should be playing. Whereas we'd be the same about Fernandes. Ironically, we'd be like, we should be playing. Do you know what I mean? We're like,
well, there's a lot of noise over the fact that Billy Gilmore's getting his game and he's not playing very well, and Cantwell's.
Cantwell is everything that I. This sounds ridiculous. He's not Zidane, but like, he's a midfielder that is brave in possession. Like he'll come and get the ball in a difficult area, and he's willing to take players on and move the ball up the field. That's what I love about him. I really do. And
he link up the midfield in the front line way better than anything we've got at the minute.
And I can understand people are a bit unsure because who he plays for, and he hasn't been playing much either. But I've always liked him. Like, and he's. I'm not saying he's as good as this lad, but he reminds us of that Gallagher at Palace who was at West Brom and that Big Sam. He reminds us of that style of player who can get goals, can be creative, And as I say, he's comfortable on the ball, wants to have the ball. I think that's so important in the middle of the park.
And again, he's out of contract in the summer.
Yeah.
Just to wrap it up on this last comment. So Dave P says Chris Wood isn't the signing that we wanted, but he's a signing that we need right now. Stats are similar to Wilson, and we need 2 strikers in this window, though. Just to go through the super chat, which was sent in earlier, it was from Josh again. I think it was. So I'll double check. Yes, it was from Josh Stockton. I can't remember exactly what you said, but he went down the route of garlic bread specials. He's been having a few drinks and going back over previous Gallowgateshots YouTube videos, and he mentioned that we talk about garlic bread specials a lot, and we haven't done it recently. And he's asking if we still recommend them. When was the last time you had a garlic bread special, Decker? I had one handful of days ago.
No, it was about 2 weeks ago, but it wasn't a garlic bread special. It was one of them thingy ones again.
A margarita one.
A margarita special, yeah.
I've
Same
had
thing,
one
yeah.
for donkeys, like.
I know.
Yeah, no.
Is that out of choice?
I've always chosen something else when I've gone to a pizza or a kebab shop.
I had a
like a kebab pizza.
Bestie, when was the
something
last
like
time you had a garlic bread special? Did you not have one not long ago?
No, I've not had a garlic bread special. I think I might have had one when England played Ukraine in the Euros. That might have been a kebab meat pizza, though I can't remember.
I think kebab pizza's a better personally.
I think it
kebab
might have
meat
been.
pizza.
It might have been a kebab meat. No, that was a Super Bowl. I'm thinking of the last year Super Bowl. I got a kebab meat pizza with kebab meat on top.
Whoa.
What a guy.
So a kebab meat pizza with a portion of kebab meat on top.
Wowzers.
Can't understand why I can't lose weight. Yeah, that was calorific. That like.
Maybe a side of kebab meat as well.
Yeah,
Wrap.
with a kebab like aperitif.
We went mental last night. Emma came round. Emma, legend.
Your Sunday, like every Sunday, you seem to have like 1,000 massive bin lids in your living room.
All the time, yeah. But when he got there, he was like, "Right, what?"
I think I should have the body that we've got.
Aye.
Yeah, I will.
true.
Yeah, I should definitely. I mean, I had some food yesterday alone. Sunday's dinner I went to that place at Westwood, the new place. What's it called again?
West Dovinos or something?
Something like that, yeah.
West
Sunday
West
dinner was
something.
unbelievable. The Yorkshire puddings on the size of my head. So I had a couple of them, loads of stuff, ordered some sides, amazing. Got home, then ordered all that. And I was sitting there struggling, like, to be fair, I was struggling, but I had a quick I was calling it Quidditch just for a laugh. I don't know how you pronounce it. Pizza called that.
What?
Beautiful. What's it called?
Quidditchy, I think.
Quidditchy. I was calling it Quidditch pizza.
What's
I don't know, but I saw it on the
It had
menu.
like peppers, mushrooms, jalapenos, onions.
Like a vegetarian.
Sounds like
It
it sounds
it
like a Four Seasons, like a Cadro Stagione.
had. I don't know what that is. Is he blue front? It had some meat in as well. Oh, it was gorgeous.
Four
Really,
Seasons
really
is normally ham, mushroom,
nice.
peppers, and onions.
Aye, but that's like a quarter in it. One's
It can be. You can get where it's all mixed up. But a Four Seasons
Mixed
normally will be
seasons.
like a
Mixed
yeah, mixed seasons.
it goes against everything that you from your 4 seasons pizza. That's why the idea of have your separate quarters. That's why it's called 4 in it.
That's got 4 ingredients, apart from the cheese and tomato and bread, flour.
But I haven't had one in that long, to be fair. And to be fair, I would rather get a kebab pizza because with that deal you get in that place, I'd rather get a kebab pizza because you get a kebab as well. But the lads always go, "Oh well, you know, we're already getting 2 kebabs." Like, but I would have a kebab pizza as well. Me, but
So you're like bestie.
The
Yeah.
problem with the garlic bread special is it's just so much.
There's loads.
There's so much, and I like my pizza to be done that night. I'm not carrying pizza forward the next day. I want it to be done. So next day,
You had I'd like a bit of cold pizza the next morning.
I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'd rather have it done, put a full stop under it, and then move on.
You,
the next one.
You can have pizza like if you have a cold the next day or chuck it in the oven, warming up for a few minutes. Garlic bread's never the same the next day. Is it?
It's not.
dries out
It's
too
hard,
much.
it's hard.
Yeah, even kebab meat as well. Tried it a few times. It just
I've went in the
Timing.
bin. I've went in the
Timing.
bin a few times for kebab pizza, like in the morning. A few times at my last.
Why, how's it been chucked out?
Because you know when you're like at the brim and you're like, oh, like I'm not having any more of that. I put in the bin, and then the next morning I'm like,
Nah,
where's it?
guns in the microwave
In
or
my-
in the oven for the
No, I
following
would
day.
never reheat that. Like, I have to be fair, I would never ever reheat kebab pizza. Like, I'd have that cold, it'd be all right.
Oh no, you chuck it in the oven for like 7 minutes.
Not sure about that. Like,
I would never.
does that get back to the volume it was
Oh.
on before? Yeah.
That's the
Right.
thing. I'm saying that if I must leave food, if I must leave a bit pizza, it doesn't go in a bin. Like it gets put back in the box.
It goes in
my
the following
fridge.
day's waste disposal.
It goes. It normally gets put down for half an hour. Then I
Well,
think
I should
I'll
probably
throw
do that because I've seen myself in the bin many times, clawing out slices the next
But I'll
day,
tell you
so-
what we should be having. I'll tell you what we shouldn't be having. This. So I've
Oh
just
my
put on the screen.
God,
so this is Daryl's
Oh,
pizza.
Daryl.
This is what Daryl sent in the WhatsApp group on Saturday night. That is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, Daryl.
Daryl reckons that's not burnt.
Did you see that thing? It was when was Thanksgiving, there was some woman complaining to a pumpkin pie company that it was
Yes.
and it was
Yes.
basically this block of carbon that had just been incinerated. And she was going,
That
"Oh,
could-
can't
that
believe
could power-
you've ruined Thanksgiving." It's like, no, you've just put it on for too long. Daryl, bless him, I would eat that, but it's not great. That like
It doesn't make me
You-
want a pizza.
No, you would need a hell of a lot of sauce.
That's what I
He's
said.
hell of a lot of sauce.
Need a lot of condiments.
He's definitely
in that.
left that in
yeah.
the oven for
Yeah.
good 5 minutes too long. If he'd just taken it about earlier, it would have been had a
There
nice
just
golden
seem to be-
crust on
yeah,
it.
there seems to be like no juice there at all, is it? Like it's just like this. It's just
all,
awful.
I'm
all
looking at it now.
evaporated through the heat.
So people are just listening to the audio. If you just go on, we're now in 10 minutes into the live stream, yeah, and there's a picture of Daryl's absolutely shan pizza.
It's got some
on the
crust on it,
screen
like,
there.
I don't know.
It's
It's
the
Well, it was a
It's a sauce.
stuffed crust pizza, wasn't it?
it's sort of stuffed crust,
Oh,
So that's where your kind of your moisture comes from.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it hadn't been overcooked.
You know what it is? It's probably quite tasty, but it's not. It's not.
that was not nothing about that was tasty. I'd rather eat the tray that was on.
When you got past the cheese, I reckon the tomato would be like molten as well. That would hurt. That like.
It's rank. It's the worst pizza I've ever seen in my life.
I'm thinking about last night. I really want that pizza again. Like I'm on my diet now. This is it. I'm on it now, guys. No more pizza for me now.
Slim rolling again, like
Yeah, back on it now.
Oh yeah, back on the slim
back
ones.
on it, mate.
Aye, we'll see. Thanks everybody
Fast
for
forward to
watching
the
tonight.
weekend.
I do want to apologise for the start of the podcast and the things and
pretty
the
much all of it.
all of it. Yeah, I'm sorry for it all. We've had some issues with YouTube. It's not us. Apparently, it's YouTube.
Oh,
The
really?
problems with because it fixed itself eventually, and YouTube.
Somebody had to unplug the Ethernet cable. Like, I don't
well,
know.
YouTube
don't know why that
reported
was
issues
supposed to-
with the live streams.
We'll be having words with them.
So yes, we'll be straight on YouTube.
Zuckerberg.
So yeah, we'll get
It's not
it.
him, is it? Like,
Is it not?
By
No,
way of
Google-
apology, you might get some extra podcasts this week if you remember.
Yeah, so what I was going to say there, thanks to the people that have subscribed and became a member tonight as well. If you do become a member of the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel, you do get instant access to the Telegram group where you can chat with all four of us as well as everybody else on Gallowgateshots and everybody else who is a member. There's some decent crack
Me
in
and
there.
Bestie, really, isn't it?
pretty much. Aye.
Sometimes
Aye.
Roger.
Roger.
Aye.
but he's
Very
short, so-
occasionally Chris.
Also, what you're going to be receiving as of this week on Wednesday night, I will be recording a podcast with Ryan Taylor, friend of the podcast, now part of the podcast. I will say he's part of the podcast.
Can we get him in a WhatsApp group?
We can try, like.
I'm going to try. Like
Best behaviour. That no one's putting wanking dogs in the
No,
group.
but Daryl's not putting shan pizzas in there anymore. So yeah, there's going to be an episode at least once a month with Ryan Taylor, where we're just going to be chatting all things Newcastle United with him as well. I think this week's going to be decent because I can talk about the cup competitions which he's been knocked out of as a Newcastle United player. Welcoming new players into the dressing room as well. It would be great to hear what it's like, especially players that are going to come in on a bigger wage than the rest of the lads.
I was thinking this on Saturday. I was wondering if Trippier's had to do an initiation.
I was just wondering whether he's had to stand up on his seat and sing the song because that's
yeah,
the
100%.
normal crack in it.
Yeah,
you normally get it on
100% you would've.
Instagram.
100% you would have.
Sometimes you do, yeah.
money, money, money. That's what you got to say.
But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure as always. We shall be back at some point later in the week. We'll probably do a match preview. But yeah, that's it.
Bestie.
Dennis!
Oh yeah,
I meant to ask the question first.
I've done it now.
What do you call an American dentist? What does the Americans call a
Nailed
dentist?
it.
What do you call American dentist? I don't know, doctor.
Orthodontist.
So, Bestie, what do Americans call a dentist?
Well, boys, Dennis. It's, you know what it is? It's off Shooting Stars. That it's a real Vic and Bob joke. I think he tells it to Belinda Carlisle.
See you later.